welcome to all of you. A kind request for the PG scholars. Can you please occupy the front seats? PG scholars? PG scholars, can you please occupy the front seats? Girls? A very warm welcome to all of you. I, Dr. Renuka BN from National Institute of Unani Medicine, Bengaluru, will be your host for today's program. Today we have gathered here not just to celebrate International Yoga Day, but to embrace a way the life that brings harmony between the body, mind and the soul. On this special occasion, let us take a moment to pause, breathe and reconnect with ourselves. International Yoga Day is observed on June 21st. It was proposed by India and endorsed by United Nations in 2014. Since then, it has become a global celebration of wellness, peace and inner balance. This year the theme is Yoga for One Earth, One Health. Yoga is a Sanskrit word translated as a yoke or unite. To yoke means to draw together, to bind together or to unite. Its aim is to yoke or create a union of body, mind, soul and universal consciousness. This process of uniting the physical, mental, emotional and spiritual aspects of ourselves is what allows yoga to experience deep state of freedom, peace and self-realization. Yoga is an ancient system which has been passed down through the generation from a teacher to the student. Yogic practice is breathing, techniques, postures, relaxation, chanting and other meditation methods. There are many different styles of yoga, each with a unique focus and approach. Its origin is traced back to thousands of years to Upanishads, a collection of yogic texts dating roughly from 800 BC to 400 AD. With this brief introduction, we now move on with today's program. I would like to call upon our director, Professor Dr. Shah Alam, Director, National Institute of Unani Medicine, Bengaluru, to kindly come over and occupy the chair on the stage. Thank you, sir. I now call upon Shri Jinsey Sundaram to kindly come over the stage and occupy the chair. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Jinsey Sundaram to kindly come over the stage and occupy the chair. I also request Dr. Abdul Mubin, Yoga Sangam 2025 Nodal Officer, to kindly come over the stage and occupy the chair. Thank you, sir. Moving on with our today's program, I request our director, Dr. Shah Alam, to kindly present saplings to Shri Jinsey Sundaram as a token of welcome. I request Dr. Shah Alam, sir, to kindly present sapling to Dr. Jinsey Sundaram as a token of welcome. I call upon Dr. Gulamuddin Sofi, Head of the Department Immun Adviya, to kindly come over and give the sapling to our director as a token of welcome. Thank you, sir. I would like to call upon our director to kindly address the gathering regarding Yoga Sangam 2025.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. thanks to Almighty Allah, respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, faculty members, students, and yoga participants. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to one and all. A very warm welcome and heartful welcome to each one of you on the special occasion of Yoga Sangam, the 11th International Day of Yoga 2025. It is indeed a matter of great pride and joy for the National Institute of Unani Medicine, Bengaluru, to celebrate this global event that highlights the ancient wisdom and contemporary relevance of yoga. Under this year's inspiring theme, Yoga for One Earth, One Health, we are truly honored to welcome our distinguished guest today, Shri Vinay Siddhaya, founder of Yoga Vijanna Convener for Technology of Indian Yoga Association, and Dr. Jinsey Sundaram, Associate Professor, S-VYASA School of Yoga and Naturopathy. Your presence here are grateful enriches this celebration, and we are grateful for your valuable time and wisdom. Yoga is not merely a practice, but a way of life that harmonizes the body, mind, and spirit. It enhances mental clarity, improves physical health, and builds emotional resilience. Values that are increasingly vital in today's fast-paced world. There is a deep resonance between yoga and Unani system of medicine, both of which emphasizes holistic well-being, preventive care, and the balance of natural forces like yoga. Unani medicine advocates a lifestyle in tune with nature and focuses on strengthening the body's innate healing powers. Let us pledge to adopt yoga as a regular part of our daily lives, not just for one day, but every day. We should strive to know and practice every major yoga asana with such awareness and consistency that we become our own guides. So well versed that we need no trainer to lead us toward well-being. It is our collective responsibility to embrace wellness for ourselves and for the planet. And let us move forward together with the spirit of one earth, one health. Once again, I welcome you all and wish you a meaningful and rejuvenating celebration of yoga. Thank you once and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your warm words. I would like to call upon Dr. Arish Sharwani, Head of the Department DST, to kindly come over and hand over the memento to Dr. Shah Alam, sir. Thank you, sir. Moving on with our today's program, I would like to call upon our first speaker, Dr. Jinsey Sundaram. She is going to speak on Yoga for One Earth, One Health, role for health professionals. Yes, sir. Yes. Dr. Jinsey Sundaram has done a Bachelor of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences from Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University as a topper. Post-graduation in Psychology from University of Madras, Masters in Human Resource Management from Bharatiya University. She is Associate Professor in Department of Integrative Medicine and also Vice Principal, School of Yoga and Naturopathic Medicine, S-VYASA Dean to the University, Bengaluru. She is a skilled yoga and naturopathy physician with more than 15 years of clinical teaching and research experience, clinical expert in psychodiagnosis, gut microbiota, nephrology, women's health and post-trauma rehabilitation, a regular writer for health magazines, content writer for websites, and an ardent speaker on health and personality-related topics. She has served in many prestigious institutions in Tamil Nadu and Kerala as academician, physician, wellness consultant, and startup consultant. Currently heads the Department of Integrative Medicine and Psychology in the School of Yoga and Naturopathic Medicine. She conducts a course in her expertise, psychodiagnosis and counseling, course coordinator for SVYAM course on yoga for IQ development. She is a guest faculty at Unani University, China. Over to you, madam.
A warm good morning to all of you seated here, the dignitaries who were there along with me, Director Sir, the Nodal Officer and the co-speaker. I'm very glad to be in such a prestigious institution today, and I've been witnessing the whole program from morning, so I know how much of hardship and organizing backup was required for organizing such a huge event. I'm so happy that S-VYASA University is able to be part of it. I had my postgraduates also along with you. You all had witnessed them demonstrate yoga for you and do an artistic sequence as well this morning. I thank them also who have been accompanying me all these while. So without much ado, I will get to the topic. But before that, I congratulate all of you to have been choosing the alternate system of medicine. That is how the country designates it. But I would tell, we are actually in the primary healthcare system these days in conjunction with the conventional medicine, because people started thinking very holistic. All these while we were thinking very bifurcated, but now we are trying to communicate together, join together and unite together. So I'm very happy that we are all part of the Ayush system. So congratulations on that behalf. And that is why I chose the topic as the role of health practitioners in bringing one earth and one health. There is no Ayurveda there is no Yoga Naturopathy, there is no Unani, there is no Siddha, there is no Homeopathy, there is no Savarikpa. We are calling it as health. When it comes to the platform of health, all of us are health practitioners, and we have one motto, which is the patient's health. Be it whatever system we follow, whatever literature we study, our outcome is going to be patient's health. So keeping that in mind, we will just have a very basic outlook on how we can all join together and work hand in hand in bringing the theme of this year's Yoga Day, One Earth and One Health. Yeah, I'm not going too scientific about it because you're postgraduates. I really don't want to go into the nuances of physiology, anatomy after having a beautiful breakfast and an early morning wake up. Okay? Yeah. This is a definition again which is given by WHO, where the definition of health is always meant as a complete state of physical, psychological and social health. Yeah? Social meaning how you relate yourself in the society, where a lot of other factors also will come into existence. Yeah? The health dimensions, according to WHO's quality of life, there are close to 7 dimensions. We have physical, emotional, social, intellectual, spiritual, occupational. So when all these dimensions is kept healthy, at all these levels a person is stable, not depressed, not stressed and feeling very satisfactory and content, then only you call a person as healthy. So then who is working toward all this? Definitely it is the Ayush system of medicine, because we are not catering only to the organs. I'm not offending the system of conventional medicine. Of course, the advancements what they've made and the researches what they've made is tremendous, and there are situations where we definitely have no other options other than conventional medicine. But organ, a liver is treated as a liver. If you have to see a little below that, you need to touch the gallbladder, there is another specialist for that. A little towards the right, there is another specialist. I still remember when I had taken my dad to a cardiologist. So he was having a heart issue, and then there were some medications prescribed, and off late he started with the shoulder pain, probably because of the aspirin medications which he was taking for quite long. Then I asked the doctor, what shall we do with the pain? That is musculoskeletal, go to an orthopedic. Because it was just 5 centimeters above the so-called heart and they don't deal with it. But there are a lot of nuances which goes to the root cause, and we are able to address it. And I believe you also, your philosophy also is meddling with the 5 great elements plus the energy in the body, the meridian, the acupuncture philosophy, all these are blended in Ayurveda, Naturopathy, Unani. We all work at the whole cosmos level, at the whole integrity of the body level. We work at the body, mind, spirit level. So thereby, if all these dimensions has to be catered, then it is very important to see the patient as a whole, which we are anyways doing. Yeah. So now this is a question for ourselves. If at all we have not started doing it, this talk is definitely aimed at the budding scholars over there. So are we actually addressing it? Are we offering it? Are we referring for it? There are certain things where I come from the background of naturopathy. There are a lot of things which we can do. There are a lot of things which we cannot do. Similarly, from the background of Unani, there are a lot of things only Unani can do, and there are a lot of things where Unani cannot have a say in it. Are we referring such patients somewhere? We do not know. Are we really addressing a problem which we are not able to cater to? We are very sure about it. Are we offering to take care of every problem under the planet? Still we are not contemplating on it. So today let's take a time to just see whether we are addressing all these issues in the healthcare system. Yeah. So now, today our sciences, we are being very scientific, and a lot of researches are happening even in the alternative systems of medicine, be it Ayurveda or Unani or homeopathy, naturopathy. A lot of studies are being done, and we are trying to prove to the world that we are also very scientific. So in that process, a lot of people don't accept us, and it is our duty to convey and create that awareness. Whenever Yoga Day is celebrated, I think we should also take our system parallelly to popularize, because yoga, it is there in the whole planet since the mankind itself. Though after that there is a history from Adi Shesha, there is a history from Maharshi Patanjali, which is almost 200-300 years before Christ. The literatures are available from them, but Yoga Day and the system of yoga became familiarized only when Modi ji went to UN and told that yoga is there. From then 11 years we are celebrating as if yoga was born 11 years before. Yoga is just entering teenager now. It is never so. Yoga was existent, but we needed some nodal person to go and tell, see, yoga is very good, okay, you should celebrate and we will fund you, everybody make some programs. So this time we had 10 signature events. Yoga Sangam is happening here. We call around the people around and tell, do yoga. And tomorrow onwards, tomorrow Sunday, party. So that's it. Now next we will again gather the next year, June 21st. Our director was rightly telling, this is not something which has to be done on one day. It has to be a lifestyle which you should carry it together. Similarly, when our systems has to get that awareness where people should seek us for any problem. It shouldn't be a group kind of a therapy which is done in and around here and there. It should be made global. The way astrology was existing. Astrology was thought of for very ritualistic process, but now medical astrology is into existence, where even disease-based, therapy-based, planetary position-based diseases and its remedy is being sought for. Vastu was there, again it was thought as a real bullshit stuff, but Vastu is basically the Earth's magnetism. If you sleep north, south, east, west, what happens? How is Earth's magnetic effect dwelling on you? The physics part of it. So Vastu is also entering into the health stream. Carnatic Sangeet, which was thought of a religious bhajan-based stuff, has been transformed to music therapy. Now a lot of ragas are entering into music therapy. There are a lot of hospitals, even abroad, which instills music therapy before performing surgeries, so that the person's adrenaline level, the cortisol raise, all that can come down. Because anybody who enters into a surgery thinks that they might or might not come back to the world. This is how a person, a human being, enters into the operation theatre. Quite natural. A doctor is confident, but a patient is never confident. So before that, music therapy is instilled in a lot of hospitals in our country as well as abroad. Similarly, British Montessori education is now converting into national education policy based. Tradition should be instilled in children's education. Life skills are instilled. Yoga is becoming compulsory. It is being transformed. Rituals have become healing therapies. Most of the therapies of Unani, naturopathy, Ayurveda were all rituals at one time, which was told by sheikhs or told by gurus, priest of the church, sages and priests of temples. They were telling and people were following. But today it is becoming therapy. For example, the massages in your system or our system, the sunbathing in your system, Surya Namaskar, hydrotherapy. It was told in temples that every morning people should leave their footwear, walk barefooted into temple, dip in the pond there and then pray to the god. That is basically hydrotherapy, but it was told in ritual base and now it is becoming therapy. Now to sit in water, we have to pay a huge amount of money. Now, when patients come to our hospital, I used to feel pity. Sun bath costing 1,000 rupees. Sun is free of cost, but to stand in the sun coming to the hospital, it is $1,000. Because even nature, which was thought of very ritualistic and religious, has become therapy now. So from rituals, we are transforming to healing therapies. Similarly, alternate systems of medicines. We are considered to be alternate systems of medicines. We have moved from there further to complementary systems of medicine, where we can take care of some disease without the support of conventional medicine as well. It's not always mandatory that conventional medicine should be there when there is a disease. So from alternate to complementary we have moved, and now the classy phrase is integrative medicine. It's all joined together. Your good thing, my good thing, their good thing, all put together. Finally, the patient is coming out with a complete health. If all this is possible, then why not yoga become yoga therapy? Because I don't want to just talk on yoga, because a lot of noise is happening in the social media on yoga. Wherever today, tomorrow you just open, it's all yoga. In the name of celebrities, in the name of gurus, in the name of nature, classy names, you see yoga everywhere. So I don't want to talk on yoga at all. I just want to focus on yoga to yoga therapy. I know definitely in Unani medicine also a lot of exercise-based therapies are followed. There is a little difference when yoga is inculcated in that place. There is for sure a physical, mental, spiritual benefit which happens when yoga is part of our therapy modality. So let us think if yoga can become yoga therapy in addition to our health practices. So for this, the primary contemplation what we should be doing is ask ourselves, as a clinician, am I obsessed by my own practice? I am a naturopathy physician, so I believe in that. I am in the grandiose delusion that everything under the planet can be taken care by naturopathy or taken care only by naturopathy. Similarly, an Ayurvedic physician tells, a Unani physician tells, am I really that obsessed with my own practice? Then the second question is, do I have a superiority complex on my skill? If not Dr. Jinsey, then who else can do this particular therapy? Am I having that complex within myself that I'm not able to be a little humble in delivering my skills? The third question is blindly believe whatever is being told. In religion and spirituality, it is very essential to have blind belief. But in medical systems, blind belief is a blunder. We need to question ourselves a lot. So are we in the first category, which is blue highlighted, or the second category where we are very open to include what is essential for my patient's outcome, or are we very broad to explore what more can be done from my system of medicine itself? Because as long as you're students, you don't go out of your syllabus. Finish your syllabus, 10-mark question which is important, 2-mark question which is important. Sometimes you leave some systems and it's therapies. When you come into practice only, you will actually realize, yes, a lot of things I have not learned. As long as we are student, it is all exam-based, question bank-based, important question-based, and somehow flatter the teacher and get some mark, internal mark, and pass out and go. But after that, you cannot tell a patient, oh sir, this disease I had not studied because I skipped it for my 10 mark. We don't have that role there. But are we very broad to explore our own system of medicine from our mentors? The third question is, are we liberal enough to let go? Okay, certain things I really can't. Am I able to oblige and am I able to accept to the world that these things I cannot, but these things I can confidently make? The primary role of a clinician is to understand the second three components. Be open to include, be broad to explore, and be liberal to let go. Now, if all this is clear, yes, we are all doctors. We are not handling something which is very mechanical or materialistic. We are handling human being. They come to us with lot of pain. They come to us with hope. They trust us. They believe us, thinking tomorrow I'll have a better day. So it is our responsibility, a God-given responsibility, because I think Unani is more into spirituality compared to the other systems of medicine. The trust, the belief, the very prayerful thought of instilling every therapy is more in Unani system of medicine. So if that trust you deliver to the divine force, patient also deliver to us. So keeping that in mind, keeping that hashtag with us, let us ponder over the theme of today. So what is the theme of today? If you're not sleeping after your breakfast, I wanted to hear from there. Here, theme of Yoga Day, 11th International Yoga Day. yoga for one earth, one health. So what does it mean? It is meaning that the whole earth to have one health, yoga can be a tool. Yoga can be a tool where not a doctor giving yoga and as a prescription for this disease. If it is a way of life, it is a lifestyle, just like the way you brush your teeth every day, you take a shower every day, you have 3 times of food, evening you have your own gymming, you have your own walking, prayer, ritual. Similarly, if yoga is part of your life, then health will also be part of your life. That is the intention behind having such a theme, the yoga for one earth and one health. It is not telling for this system of medicine, yoga is inculcated. So as a preventive medicine, as an enhancer of your health, yoga can be carried by anybody. That is why I think this time more than 1 lakh institutions are requested or invited by our Prime Minister to conduct yoga across the country so that everybody kind of gets to know this practice. Once you taste it, you will be happy to do it forever. It's like any other dish. You know, when you go to a big sweet stall, you feel like buying when you think whether it will be expensive and you like, no, I'll go with my regular laddu. Then that person tells us a new sweet. Please taste a little. One little taste, then you feel like buying it. The taste is what Modi ji is asking us to do on June 21st. So don't leave it after this is what is applicable for the whole population across the country. But when it comes to disease, not everybody can do every type of yoga. This is where yoga is mishandled. Yoga can be done by every healthy individual, but when it comes to a disease, when it is a health issue, don't self-do yoga. You should definitely take an expert advice, for which qualified yoga experts are there. There are specific yoga experts who can guide you with it. There are specific naturopathy and yoga physicians who can take care of your disease. Otherwise, with therapies plus yoga, so you should always have that intention of guiding your patients towards yoga if they are diseased. Don't just see a YouTube video, follow yoga. Anything is possible. No, there are contraindications when it comes to yoga, because yoga is not a mere art form. It is something very scientific. It works at very subtler level. It is not just working at the musculoskeletal level. It works at the neural level. It works at the circulatory level. It works with your hormones. It works with your thought processes. So thereby yoga has to be practiced very meticulously. I know one of my students, when I was teaching some 10 years before, he was into yoga where directly, without having the physical stability, without having the emotional stability, without having good knowledge about yoga and its philosophy, there was some quack who taught him chakra yoga and kundalini yoga meditation directly. And of course it works. Yoga works and we know it. You know what happened to that guy? He went into a kind of schizophrenic symptoms, very delusionary. He was a student of mine. He was a 3rd year student then. He one day went out of college, he took an outpass, he went, and after that he never went home and people were searching for him. Finally we located him in some other district in Tamil Nadu. He was seen walking naked on the streets and it was put in the newspapers. One naturopathy yoga student is seen walking naked around the city. Then we had to put him in Pondicherry Jibmer, and from there the doctors had called us. I was in charge of that class and he had my number to them. Jibmer's physician called. Your student is there telling delirium speeches inside the ICU. This happens when there is a wrong practice. So don't ever take yoga very lightly as well. That is what you should teach your patients. When they come and tell you, we are practicing yoga, ask them with whom are they practicing. There are qualified people for that. So we all come from that background of qualification where we know the body, we know the system, we know the disease, and then we are teaching yoga. So when a person is going deviated, it's the duty of us doctors to guide them into the right path, find the right people and then put them there. We have our next speaker who is again an expert in yoga, who know the nuances. We are kind of connected. Both of us have an S-VYASA connection. So he will be talking more of science and yoga to you. So thereby yoga works at a very, very subtler level, and it is important for us to get that to every patient if it is required. If it is not required and yoga is completely contraindicated for them, that also should be taken care by us as doctors. Okay. So how do we facilitate that? explore, read a lot about things rather than having a fanatic component. This is not mine, that I will not read. We should explore. Actually, when I was invited to be a speaker here, I read a lot about Unani. I think until then I was not very aware of the systems of medicine in Unani. But now, yes, I wanted to know. I'm going to speak in a platform, I need to know what they are following, and I came up with a very interesting thing. I don't know whether that is true. Turkish bath in your system means hammam. Oh, I was very astonished by that thought, and I thought maybe this is why the soap hammam got its name. So I was like, oh, that etymology, I was literally smiling and laughing to myself. So I came to read about a lot of things where 5 elements are part of you, and you have seven components, principles in you, and the names, the Arabic names of it. I was feeling very integrated because we have a Sanskrit name, you have an Arabic name. That doesn't separate us by any means. Your literature is written in that language, our literature is written in some other language. Language changes, but the motto of Unani or naturopathy or Ayurveda is finally the same: integrate the body, mind and spirit. Unless these 3 divinities integrated together, we are not going to the next level. I understood that and I was feeling very happy. Okay, I am going to a place which can be considered as my home. I didn't feel, no, I am going to an alien place hijacked and I'll be an odd one out there. I literally didn't feel that once I read about your system. Similarly, it is important for you all to read all the other system and then take the good and bad of every other system so that we understand where we stand and where others stand and where to join hand and how to facilitate the system of medicine in healthcare. Okay? Because why we should be doing all this is health should always be patient-centric and not hospital-centric, not doctor-centric, not system-centric. I had heard this from a very huge multi-speciality hospital in Coimbatore, in Tamil Nadu, where one of the biggest executive member of that hospital told me, after 27th you better don't go for consultation there, ma'am. Month 27th, after that you don't go. I said, why? I thought hospitals also started seeing numerology. After 27th, Rahu, Ketu, Yamaganda Kala, something is going. Why is that, sir? Now, after 27th, we need to meet our targets of number of surgeries. So when you go, the remaining surgeries may be placed on you. I was shocked. This is happening in the medical system because it is becoming hospital-centric. You go on 15th, appendicitis will be treated with medicine and some lifestyle modification. They're living on constipation. In allopathy system, they will give you Dufalac, Isabgol and send you. But if it's after 27th, emergency appendicectomy has to be done because it is going to be infected because it is 27th of the month. So it should never become hospital-centric. It should never become doctor-centric. In the same hospital, I know of a doctor who is already entered into LIMCA records for performing the most number of laparoscopic surgery. And now his next thing is to enter into Guinness. And I had taken my own brother for a consultation to him because he had a small abscess close to his umbilicus. So thought, okay, we'll meet a surgeon and see whether some abscess removal has to be done. So we took him there. His first question was, do you have a health insurance, ma'am? Yes. I was like very proudly telling because we are paying for a long time. And yeah, we have health insurance. Okay. Then I asked him, what is the cost of the surgery? So he said, we will open and we will see how many centimeter it will go for. Based on the centimeter, I will tell you the cost of surgery. I'm like, oh my God. He sounded like my blouse cut tailor. She used to tell 10 beats, this is the cost. If it is 20 beats, then the cost will increase. So he was telling it that way. After that, he was healed through homeopathy. Me being a naturopath, had taken him to a homeopathy physician. He gave some medicine and he was healed. It was just a small umbilical abscess where he suggested around 3 lakh plus ka surgery. He said, we'll open and explore and then bring it all out because LIMCA records to Guinness records. So it should never become doctor-centric and it should never become system-centric. Anything I can treat through naturopathy and keep them. There are people who in the name of naturopathy quacking the system. There was a person in Kerala, he starved a patient for a long period of time. He went into protein energy malnutrition and he died. No, we shouldn't be system-centric. Telling the Bible, it's all healing only. Body is eliminating. In one fine day the body eliminated the prana also. Elimination completed. We shouldn't be system-centric. Thereby we should know the basic concept of how things work in all our systems. Be very confident in your own systems. Your doctors, your teachers would be telling you 100 times when you come out into the field, things are not like this. You should be very stable enough. You should answer a lot of questions to your patients, because today's patient don't come with ignorance. Before last week I had a patient, I was telling this therapy, no madam, that therapy doesn't work in Ayurveda. I had already asked ChatGPT. Oh wow. So I asked him which therapy works. And he gave me a list of therapies and said, from this you choose one, because those things have side effects, I will not do it. He was very confident. So we cannot fool around our patients these days. We should read. Take this opportunity. As long as you are in such a prestigious institution like National Institute of Unani, it's not so easy to enter to this place. And when you go with the brand of NIUM. That is also not very easy. You see your people as directors seated here, they don't come to this place with a jump like that. It's a hard-fetched place. I know how people enter into that positions. So when you have mentors like that, explore your system to the maximum and understand how it works. Then you will know which patient I should not treat, which patient I can confidently take. Also, parallelly, see what other systems of medicines are doing. Sometimes they'll be doing some bakwas things. You should also question that. So you should please explore things. Yeah. In just two of the concepts of yoga alone, I will be explaining to you why you can integrate yoga, why you can allow your patients or suggest yoga to your patients. Whether if you are an expert in it, you can teach it, or you can send them to an expert. Why? It is generally understood. How many of you believe in a good aura? Somebody tells you have a very nice vibe. Your aura is very good. Talking to you is feeling so nice about it. It's not about the beauty of the face. It's not about the amount of fair and lovely you apply on your face every day. That is not aura, that is not vibe. The vibe is the energy you carry with you wherever you go. Panchakosha is telling about that subtle thing where the body is not mere body. It is surrounded by 5 layers. And according to the yogic philosophy, we have 5 layers called as Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. Okay. So Annamaya Kosha is we sitting like this. Our body facilitated very well with food we eat, with the juice you drink, with the gym you do, with the exercise you do, the swimming, cycling, all that is Annamaya Kosha, where we are pampering our body. The next level is Pranamaya Kosha. I think being in India, you would have listened to a lot of people when they die, they say he left his prana. They don't tell he left his oxygen. Do they tell that? Or today his heart stopped? They don't tell that. They say they left his prana. Prana is a vital force. I think in Unani system also you believe in that vital force rather than SpO2. What is a vital force in Unani called? Ru. Okay. So if that goes, then you're done. After this body is body. No, the moment I die, they will not tell Dr. Jinsey has to be cremated, body has to be cremated, my doctor goes, my name goes, my affiliations goes, my designation goes, it becomes body. Body does not have any survival after that, once the prana leaves. But is prana alone enough to survive in the world? No. A brain dead person has prana there, through the ventilator it is going on, but he doesn't have the capacity to think or perform. Thereby people ask, shall we kill him and take the organs? There is a big mafia going behind that as well these days. Organ donation is possible when prana is there, body is there, but still Manomaya Kosha is not working. Then also a person is not considered to be a living being. So Manomaya Kosha is also very important. Yeah. Now Manomaya Kosha is there, Pranamaya Kosha is there, Annamaya Kosha is there. You see lunatics on the streets or you go to Nimhans, they will be talking, suddenly laughing, going around naked, they are into schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, multiple personality disorder, very psychopatho person is there. Will any of you marry him? Because he is a human being. No? We won't. I will sacrifice my life because he has Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. Only thing is he doesn't have Vijnanamaya Kosha. What is right, what is wrong, what is reality, what is myth, he doesn't have. Will we? No. We still don't consider him as a wholesome human being. So that is also important. The next level is Anandamaya Kosha, which is a very hi-fi statement, which is not possible when we are living in a hurry-burry world. Anandamaya Kosha is letting go of all the fame. It's okay. Ignore everything, no fights, no arguments, santosha, complete contentment. It might happen very later realization it might happen, so we will not deal with that much. yoga practices, yoga is generally, Ashtanga yoga is a terminology which is given by Maharishi Patanjali, where there are 8 limbs of yoga. 8 limbs of yoga: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. So these 8 limbs, few of it will cater to your Annamaya, few to your Pranamaya, few to your Manomaya, few your Vijnanamaya, and finally Samadhi or Anandamaya, which we are not again going to. As human beings, the other 4, if it is intact itself, it's far and by far very good. So here, as we listen to the term yoga, we only consider some yogic asanas, some gymnastics, some turning and twisting. It's not that. Your breath control is very, very important. The amount of air you take in, the amount of time you let the air to come out is very important, because that is the time which is required for the oxygenation to take place inside. Diffusion of gases takes place at that particular time. We are kind of dog breathing only. Always we are in anxiety. What is the respiratory cycle? Respiratory rate. How many cycles do we breathe in a minute? 14, 16, 20. Okay, we'll keep in a range of on an average 15 cycles in a minute we are breathing. Okay. Which is the longest living animal on the planet? Yeah, somebody told me. Tortoise. Yeah, turtle. You know, it will breathe hardly 1 time, 2 times in a minute. So thereby it is living for a long time. Now it is like this mid-rain season. No? Do you see that one fly like wasp which comes around for the evening lights? It will come around the bulb and do all kind of dance. No, kuchipudi, zumba, everything, and then by morning it's dead. Because its respiratory rate is very, very high. It's prana, it utilized all the prana, it is gone. But turtle is like, turtle is what we compare, tortoise is what we compare for withdrawing the senses. Some problem comes, what it will do? Will not go and poke its nose. Keep it inside under the shell, aram se it will sit there, breathe slowly, walk slowly and live for 100 years. Similarly, when God, there's a mythical story, when God sent us to the world, He gave us a bag. This bag is for you. This is your prana. Use it meticulously. Once you finish this, no more wild card entry, come back. So once we come to the world, we are supposed to use it very meticulously, and thereby practices like pranayama is very essential. Because when we do pranayama, today you did pranayama, we ask people to inhale and exhale the double. There are varieties of pranayama, again it's a huge science. Say for example, you are inhaling for 5 seconds and exhaling for 10 seconds. So 15 seconds we are taking 1 breath. So in a minute, how many breaths will we take? I'm very bad at maths, that's why I chose medicine. 15 seconds, 1 breath. So you are also telling me, that's why we also chose medicine, ma'am. So 4 breaths, hardly 4 cycles of respiration we have in 1 minute. How many are we saving now? Usually if it's on an average 15, 10 breath, 10, 11, we'll keep it 10 because all of us are equally bad at maths, we will keep as 10. So if you do 1 round of pranayama, we are saving 10 breaths. So if you're doing for 1 minute, 10 breaths is saved. 10 minutes, 100 breaths. 10 days, 1000 breaths. 100 days. So just imagine in the exponential form of 10, if you keep imagine, we are saving so much of energy for ourselves. This I am talking about doing a 10-minute pranayama for a day. Forget about the different names of pranayama, just deep breathe. If you give this pause, so much of gaseous exchange is happening. We are saving. How much of money we save now, put in that insurance, here mutual funds, some other funds, so that after 10 years it will come in return. Do you know whether we are there for 10 years? No. When my husband got a central government job, no, he told, life is secure now. After 60, when I retire, after that if I die also you will get, I should be there, not for you to be 60, for you to get a pension and you die, and then after that I die. There's no guarantee for our health. Government is offering all those procedures of pension, but are we taking care of having some security for ourselves? No. This I'm not talking about patient, it is for all of us. We're all in a career of energy drain. The one consultation you do with the patient, how much of energy drain do you feel? Don't you all? Because our consultation is not like allopathy, not even look at the face. Change the antibiotics name. Change Paradolo is same, Calpol is same, Paracet is same, it's all paracetamol, only you have to remember the brand names. But for us, it's not like that. Who are there in your family? Do you sleep well? Your emotions are good? Do you sweat? Do you walk? How do you walk? How many questions you have to ask? At least 1 hour of consultation we do, and so much of energy loss is there. How do we get that back? Do you do something to get that back? Except your namaz? Namaz, yes, definitely, I know for sure, very religiously you will be doing your 5 times of namaz, and thereby a lot of spiritual power or divine energy is coming to you. But for your bodily sakes, we are not doing anything. Practice, try practicing at least 10 minutes of pranayama per day and have a lifetime saving of life. Yeah. So this picture I had actually kept. This is very, very correlating to, this is conventional medicine's psychological pyramid of Maslow's hierarchy needs. This is very, very similar to our Panchakosha, but not as deep as that, because modern medicine, Western medicine has come very recently. They are yet to understand. After 100 years they will tell that was right. So by then we are moving a lot ahead. Sorry. Okay. So I've put one illustration. This is a study which was done on diabetics and hypertensive people with the intervention called yoga. You see, I just don't want to read out all that. You see where all yoga is working at. It's working at behavior, it's working at psychological changes, it's working at physiological change. It was an RCT. I don't remember the journal in which I wanted to put that reference, but somehow I missed it. IMJ, I think. So here, it is meaning that behavior, psychological, physiological changes, just the yoga practice is giving, which means it's working at the Panchakosha level. We are not just telling it improves vitality, it will keep you healthy, it will keep you strong, it will give you vigor. We are talking in terms of lipid profile, pancreatic regeneration, sympathoadrenal and HPA axis, immunomodulation, insulin secretion. We are talking at a very scientific level. So thereby yoga is a very, it is of course very spiritual at one end. If you are looking at getting moksha or religion aspect of it, let us keep it aside. But when you take it as a therapy, it is a very nice science if you are going into each and every nuances of it. Thereby there is no need of any hesitancy to include such practices in your therapy. When I do counseling, because my expertise is on psychodiagnosis, when I do counseling, I ask people to do yoga. Because whatever great mantras and advices I tell, they won't be able to listen if their emotion is not very stable. It is important to have your emotion a little clear and vigilant. And for your prana, for your mind to be calm, your prana has to be very balanced. That is why pranamaya kosha is in between annamaya kosha and manomaya kosha. So breathing is the connection between your emotions and your body. Many of the psychosomatic disorders can be taken care by the practices of pranayama. Okay. So health, we all believe that health is a unity between your body, mind and spirit. Whatever system we follow, let us take the best of it and somehow connect the body, mind and spirit when a patient is going out. Let them not go as post-mortem bodies. We are doctors. We are not forensic experts to bifurcate different parts. So we will keep their body, mind and spirit together and treat our patients. So our takeaway message for today is, let us be the torchbearers for a better healthcare system, better patient well-being, and work toward one earth and one health. Okay. So with this I am just concluding. Any quick questions? 1 or 2 we can have today, otherwise we will move on to our next speaker. Do we have any quick questions from your side? You want once again, sorry. So according to the yogic philosophy, every disease, most of the disease starts from Vijnanamaya Kosha when we really don't know what is right and wrong. When we don't know what is right and wrong, our eating habits change, our physical activity change, our emotions change. We unnecessarily get greedy, selfish, jealous, anger, all these emotions, the tendency for those emotions will start at the Vijnanamaya Kosha level. And that will be creating a lot of stress hormones to a lot of neural issues it will create, and that works at your breath. Your prana is becoming imbalanced, and that works at the Annamaya Kosha level and shows as symptoms. Say asthma or gastric ulcer or diabetes mostly are stress related. At least 70% of the time it is stress related. So how it is from a ignorance, from when we don't know how to discriminate between right living and wrong living, from there it starts. If it is lifestyle. So you have a continuous conflict between the husband and wife. Your Manomaya kosha is never healthy. And that is not catered by MRI, PET, ECG, EEG. Your Manomaya kosha cannot be diagnosed. But that works at your prana, and if that oxygenation is not very good with your organs, the organs will become diseased. But we are only catering into organs problem. Diabetes is coming, we work on hyperglycemia, give any kind of anti-hyperglycemic agents and reduce the glucose level, but we don't work at their emotional level, then the problem is going to continue. Start with metformin 500, then go for 1000, go for further more, and it just goes on and on unless we work on the root cause. So yoga philosophy tells a human being is made up of these 5 layers. All the layers should be intact. Any layer when damaged will work on the lower koshas, and thereby it can be seen at the Annamaya kosha. I can't see your prana, but I can see your Annamaya kosha. So what is visible is only at the Annamaya kosha, but when something is visible, don't just treat the visibility alone, but go back to the other layers and check whether those are having some problem. So thereby the 5 layers, sir. Vijnanamaya kosha is your intellect. Vijnanamaya kosha is that intellect to choose the right and wrong, to do or not do. Should I scold my wife or not scold? When she is arguing, should I keep quiet or slap her? All that starts at Vijnanamaya kosha. But the moment you slap her and after that a big fight comes, your children are crying because of that and they are suffering a lot because of that, your Manomaya kosha will definitely feel guilty. With that guilt, no, every day I should not have done. Or imagine somebody doing that and the wife is suiciding. Children are becoming motherless. For the whole life, the person will have that guilt in his Manomaya kosha and end up in diabetes. We will be giving him metformin, glimepiride, 2 mg, 5 mg, 10 mg, insulin. Okay, start with insulin. The guilt won't go. We have to take that out. So thereby, all the 5 layers of health is very important. Done?
Thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful talk. I'd like to call upon our director, Dr. Shah Alam, sir, to kindly present memento to the speaker as a token of appreciation.
Actually, your name was there. Yesterday you told. Your name was there.
Female होना चाहिए साथ में.
Exactly. Yes, yes, true.
Moving on with our program, I would like to call upon our next speaker, Jinsey Sundaram, to give a talk on pranayama as a tool for physical, mental and emotional well-being. Jinsey Sundaram is the founder of Yoga Vijnana. He has done his master degree in yogic science from S-VYASA and MTech in heritage science and technology from Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. He has worked for over 12 years as a principal engineer in a renowned multinational company such as Western Digital, SanDisk, Intel and Wipro. While working in the IT sector, he also spent more than 11 years teaching yoga, eventually choosing to fully dedicate his life to the field. He is a certified yoga master, the highest level, a yoga therapist and a lead examiner by Ministry of Ayush. He is one of the few recognized yoga chikitsa acharyas in the world by Indian Yoga Association. He has trained over 300 students across the globe. He also serves as a managing trustee for Yoga Vijnana Foundation, an ATG certified not-for-profit organization dedicated to promoting authentic science of yoga to various sections of society without financial gain. He also serves as a convener for technology for Indian Yoga Association chapter. Over to you, sir.
Good so much, and I thank the National Institute of Unani Medicine for inviting me today, and definitely Nanda Prasad and Dr. Shah Abdul sir. So it's wonderful because I was talking to Director sir before coming here, and he just told me that the modern medicine has drawn the inspiration, or rather the modern medicine also believes Hippocrates is the father of yoga, and which actually gave him Unani medicine. So basically you can say that the entire medicine that we have today as allopathy, right, it originated from Unani medicine itself. So we can say that. So I'm so happy to be speaking at the source of medicine, I would say, the root of medicine. So thank you so much for inviting me again. So with that, I want to thank my previous speaker, Dr. Jinsey ji as well. So when she was talking, I was like just listening because she was simplifying my talk also. So because all the concepts that she has already explained, I don't have to repeat them again now because you already know those concepts. I can just build on those concepts. So that's how easier she has made my life today. So thank you so much. It was a wonderful talk, and I also want to mention one beautiful point she mentioned about how the therapy should be patient-centric. It's extremely bang on because unfortunately even in yoga it is becoming a system-centric medicine, unfortunately nowadays, because from a patient-centric medicine. Because we are all busy creating modules for yoga therapy also. Because if you see yoga, right, if somebody has a diabetes, we have a module for diabetes. If somebody has something, it's a module for that. But in fact, even if back pain is there, the reason for a back pain for person A is different from person B. As she mentioned about Panchakosha theory, right, somebody, it can be from a physical Annamaya Kosha level, he is getting back pain. For somebody, it can be from Manomaya Kosha level, he is getting back pain. So before understanding this, it is really difficult to actually treat a patient. So I think yoga also has to become a patient-centric system itself. It should not be a system-centric or just a structured kind of an approach. So I think that's a beautiful point she mentioned. That's where I also look for when it comes to yoga therapy. Before we go on, let me just explain you what is pranayama. I think she has already beautifully mentioned where the pranayama fits in. So now that you have attended her talk, in the Ashtanga yoga that she mentioned at the end, right? So which limb is pranayama? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Can anybody put some number to it? Pranayama is which limb of those Ashtanga yoga practice? Second, third, fourth. Let us see how many of you are awake. Second, so it's actually the fourth limb, right? Yama, niyama is the first basic things, then asana, pranayama. Okay? So now that we are dealing with that fourth limb of the practice, we should not forget the foundation on which we are building on. And the foundation has already been beautifully set by Dr. Jinsey. So I will also build on that foundation now. So with that, let me just quickly continue. It's not moving? Oh. So let us get some basic definitions of pranayama right. I have wanted to make it as interactive as possible. You don't think that I am giving a lecture and you are just sitting and listening. I know if you do that, most of you will fall asleep. So please, I'll ask questions now. How many of you know what is pranayama? Just raise your hands if you know what is pranayama. Or if you have, at least today morning you have done pranayama, right? If you have done today morning pranayama also, it's counted. You can just raise your hands if you have done pranayama. Okay, I think a lot of people have done pranayama. So what is pranayama? Breathing practice, inhalation, exhalation. Okay, what else? I heard inhalation, exhalation from the back side. You just have to little bit shout your responses, otherwise I cannot hear you clearly. Anything else? What is pranayama? Inhalation and exhalation and concentration. Okay, anything else? Even laughter also you can do pranayama. Fantastic. Alright, what else? Anything else? What is pranayama? Let us understand the term pranayama properly here. Sorry? Somebody said something at the back. I can't hear you. You have to be a little louder. Huh? Conscious breathing practice. Fantastic. The conscious, I like that word. Conscious breathing practice. Okay. What else? So let us understand prana itself. We can break it down even further. What is prana? You all know prana? Vital force. Fantastic. So vital force, is it only breathing? Is breathing and vital force, is it the same thing? No. Now if that is no, then your definition of pranayama should also change now. Because your pranayama is breathing, right? Now if the vital force is what is prana, then what is pranayama then? Alright, let me just do one thing. I'll simplify it. How do I simplify it? I will tell you a story. Okay, because we all like stories, right? So maybe story will We'll make the concept clear for you. So story goes like this. So one day this 5 senses, right? You know 5 senses? Ear, eyes, nose, mouth, skin and all that. They'll all be sitting together and they'll be chit-chatting. Who is great? Okay, each one will start proudly saying, I am great, I am great. They'll all fight among themselves. And now they have to prove that they are great, right? How will they prove? Each one starts showing off. How the show off happens? First the sound will start, the ears will start. Wherever they are sitting, right, it fills the entire space with beautiful melodious music. And it says, see, I can create this, so I am great. And then looking at that, then the eyes didn't want to be left behind. The eyes filled the entire space with beautiful patterns of colors and everything, which was going in sync with the music which was playing in the background. And it said, I can create this, so I am great. Wow. Then the other senses started. The mouth was flavoring a lot of flavors in the mouth. I can create this, I am great. And then nose started creating the entire space with beautiful aroma and said, I am great. And then finally the skin, the whole body was kind of creating a lot of beautiful vibrations in sync with the music outside. And it said, I am great. When all this was going on, right, there was one more guy sitting in the room. And his name is called as Prana. He was just sitting and watching all of them. After some time he said, you know what, I am great. And because they were all busy discussing among themselves, right, nobody bothered to even see this guy. And this guy again shouted, I am there here, I am great. They didn't care. Now whenever friends don't care, what will you do? You get mad about them, right? And in that what you do? You leave and go. So the prana left the room. Moment the prana left the room, all these senses collapsed. They didn't know what happened. Again prana was curious to know, let me see what these guys are doing now. It came inside to see what's happening inside. Then they all again sprang back to life. Again he left. Again he came in. When this was going on, right, by then they realized it's all happening because of this guy coming and going out. Then when the prana came back in, they all went and surrendered. Sorry boss, we understand, you are great. Now from this story, right, who is this prana guy? Prana is what? You already mentioned that. Prana is life force. Now pranayama means controlling that life force. Very simply. You kind of understand, right? And now the source of life force is what? Is it only breath? No. Because we get the life force, we get energy from multiple other sources. What are other sources? Food we eat, yes. Fantastic. What else? Any other inputs of life sources? Huh? Somebody said something? Huh? Oxygen, yes, from the breath we inhale. Okay, what else? Do we get the life force even from the things that we see? Can we see that? If you go to a beautiful beach, you get life force from there. And then what else? Happiness from the people you talk to. If you're talking to a nice, kind person, you get the energy from the person. Versus if you talk to a person who sucks your life force. And we call that also, in Kannada we say, I don't know how many of you know Kannada here, understand it, we say prana tinbeda antivi. That means a person is sucking that life force in you. You kind of understanding it, right? So essentially pranayama means controlling this life force directly and not just prana itself. Prana means one of the life forces. And there are again pancha pranas if you go into much more deeper into the concept of prana, right? This story what I mentioned, it continues a little bit. So the continuation is going to be like this. Finally this prana will come back and say, I divide myself in 5 different forms in this body, giving it life. And that 5 different forms is not 5 senses. That 5 different forms is 5 pranas. Pancha prana we say in yogic tradition. Prana, apana, udana, vyana, samana. Basically it is nothing but depending on the action of the prana in the body, it is given a name. If the force is going downwards, we call it by some name. If the force is going upwards, we call it by some name. As simple as that. Okay? And now pranayama can mean control of any of these life forces. So I think in our tradition, right, we have ways to control apana, we have ways to control udana, samana, everything. And prana is the life force which controls your breathing, and that's where pranayama is often considered as breathing practices. It's not so. Breath is just an external manifestation of one of the life forces, which is your prana itself. I hope this is clear. Okay? Because we want to get the definitions clearly. Then we can move on to the next topics more clearly. Is it clear so far? Okay, the pranayama can mean you experiencing the life force and you enhancing the experience of that particular life force. I define it that way. And there are again popular definition where they say pranayama is extension of prana and all those things. But I stick to the definition of you experiencing or you enhancing the experience of a life force within you is what is pranayama all about. Okay? And now, as I said, breathing can be both conscious and unconscious, of course, but pranayama cannot be unconscious. You cannot watch TV and do pranayama. Sorry. If somebody has recommended you that, some says that you can sit and watch TV and do your pranayama. It's not possible. If your awareness is not there in the practice you are doing, pranayama is not going to happen. Okay? Because awareness is extremely important when you are practicing pranayama. Okay, and I think I want to take the references of some of the texts today. One of the texts is the Yoga Sutra itself, where we base the entire yoga from. Tasmin sati shvasa prashvasa gati vichcheda pranayama. Essentially what he is saying is, pranayama is all about breaking down the erraticity of your inhalation and exhalation, which essentially means to say holding your breath is what is pranayama all about, according to the popular definition by sage Patanjali. Okay? Alright, now because I was coming to National Institute of Unani, like Dr. Jinsey, I was also curious to know what your systems are. Of course, I had to do my homework, right? Because when I have to talk in that such kind of a podium, so I did some basic understanding and I classified them. Okay, between Unani and yoga, and I was so surprised that there are a lot of similarities. As she also mentioned, just the terms are different. Everything else is same. And I don't know whether this is the same name. Please correct me, I am not a Unani doctor here. These are all Unani references. I took it from Google, and you are the master sitting here. So if I have made some mistakes, kindly excuse me for that. Of course, prana thing, yoga thing, I can take the responsibility for that. Okay? And both says that health is a state of balance and harmony, which you say, and we also say health is balance and harmony, but it is brought by mental calmness. Because in yoga, it's all about your mind. It's all about how you control your mind. Because this is what disturbs our balance and harmony, both. Because if you are mentally calm, you can restore your balance and harmony very well. Otherwise, you are disturbed. And there is a vital force which heals the body, and we call that vital force as prana, and you called it as Ru, you said, right? Is this right, what I have written there, Tibiyat? It's the same, another name for Ru. Same name. Okay, I am right then. Okay, so you call the life force as Ru, we call it as prana. That's all. There's no difference there. And you have something called as temperaments in Unani medicine, which is hot, cold, dry, moist, and all these things. And the similar concepts exist in Ayurveda also as doshas. And in yoga also we call it as gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. I think going by this comparison, right, a balanced temperament is sattva guna. A rajasic temperament is nothing but hot and what is dry. And tamas is nothing but you are cold and moist. Is it fine? So considering the similarity, we can say that we are all like, we can work closely. There's no, whatever I'm going to talk after this, I'm talking about your role in a different words, that's all. Nothing else. Okay? Alright, let us continue now. Let me just tell you the prerequisite for the practice of pranayama itself. Now that we have understood, pranayama is all about controlling your prana itself. Where do we start from? What are the starting qualification for that? And this sloka beautifully explains that yathasane dide yogi ati ita mitashanaha gurupadishta margena pranayama samabhyaset. See, it gives three prerequisites for the practice of pranayama. The first prerequisite is athasane dide yogi. That means a person should be able to sit in the asana for a longer duration or stable. What is asana? A stable, comfortable posture. It's not about all the different contortions with your body that we are saying as asanas. Any stable posture is asana. Even if you're sitting now, if you're comfortable and stable on the chair, that's a comfortable posture for you to practice pranayama. And then what is the second prerequisite? Ati itam vashi itam itashanaha means having a balanced diet. Why diet is important? I think you are experts in the field of Unani. Even you deal a lot with food, and even in yoga we give a lot of importance to diet, mainly because if you are eating a food which takes more prana to digest, what do you get out of the food? Nothing. It's like a basic science. If you are taking some food which takes lesser energy to digest, then you can get something from that. Because you want to digest the food, you need energy, right? You need the vital force. And how much of energy is consumed in digesting the food decides on what is the quality of food you are taking. If it is taking more energy, the quality of the food is low. If it is taking less energy, the quality of the food is high. And this is the same logic that you follow also. Probably when you are somebody sick, right, you don't give them heavy food. You give them lighter food, easy to digest. Why? Because his prana or his slow is low, so we can make it easier for him by giving a lesser food, or a low, easily digestible food, I can say that. So that's the second prerequisite. And the third prerequisite is very important, Guru Upadishta Margena. Because unfortunately pranayama cannot be learned by watching YouTube videos. Okay? Why? Because the science is subtle. Because if it is a gross science like moving physical body, right, somehow you can see, oh, this way he is moving, I will also move that way. But breath you can't see. Maybe you can see only when somebody is moving the fingers on the face. If he is keeping his hand like this and doing it like this, you can see. But even if somebody is doing 1:2 breathing, as Dr. Jinsey mentioned in her talk, can you see that? No, you can't see. Probably you should see the movement and slowly count 1, 2, 3, 4, and nobody does that. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why an extremely important condition is the teacher's guidance is important for you to practice pranayama itself. Clear? And now, what is the purpose of pranayama itself? Let us understand purpose. Why do you have to practice pranayama? Sorry? Improve the quality of life? Alright, what else? I mean, we are not sure this only. I'll just ask first. Otherwise, you start reading and translating it mentally. What is it written there? Let me just get some decoding from there. Alright, what is the pranayama purpose? Now that you have to control the life force, why should we control the life force? It's important to control, you all agree with that? But why? For good health, fantastic. What else? To increase the lifespan, okay. I think that is beautifully mentioned by the story she said. Tortoise has a lesser breath compared to dog. You're all breathing like a dog, she mentioned that. Okay. If you want to increase lifespan, you have to breathe like a tortoise. And I'll give you an activity also in some time, right? So you'll understand what it means by that. Okay, you'll only feel it for yourself. I'm not going to say about it. But what text says is very interesting, right? What is the purpose of pranayama? See, the goal of Patanjali was to control the mind. That was his prime objective. Because the yogic system is not for physical exercises. Yogic system, in the first to second sloka itself, it says, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That means yoga is a way to control your mind. And that is where Patanjali also, this sloka also says, Chale vate chalam chittam nischale nichalam bhaved. However your mind goes, so does your breath also. See, this is something which you can easily experience whenever you are too much anxiety is there. How is your breathing? Erratic, faster. When you are calm, the mind is also calm, breath is also calm. You kind of understand the relation between these two. And now, if you can maintain that calmness in your breath throughout the day, what will happen to your mind? Is it not going to be calm throughout the day? And is this not balance and harmony we are talking about in both the sciences? That's exactly what we are talking, right? And that is exactly the goal of practicing pranayama also. It's all about calming the mind itself. Okay? And then there is a couple of more definitions from the Yoga Sutra also, which says, this is a little more complicated ones, because in Yoga Sutra, right, purpose of pranayama is defined by these two things. Tatakshiyate prakashavaranam, dharanasya yogyata manasa. Because if you see the beautiful explanation she gave, right, after pranayama, the higher orders are dharana practice, which is your concentration. So he is saying pranayama prepares for the higher practices. And then tatakshiyate prakashavaranam, it is something which is a little complicated understanding is required. So basically your prana flows inside you as a nadis. You also have meridian concept, right? You don't have meridians, or you have meridians? Yes or no? Meridians are there. The root flows in some meridians, right? Now what he is saying is, by the practice of pranayama, all these meridians starts glowing, you can say. There is a prakasha in entire physical, all this meridian system itself. That means impurities are cleansed up. You can see the meridians more clearly, you can say that. If the meridians are there, otherwise nadis you can say. And that's exactly what he is talking about. These are the purpose of practicing pranayama itself. And now, how do I move this? Oh, it came. All right. Now the benefits of the practice itself. What are the benefits of practice of pranayama? Maybe I've given the answer already. Sorry. I think the slide went ahead faster. All right. See, many times we give all the superficial definitions of benefits of pranayama practice. What is superficial definition? The practice of pranayama, we improve our lung capacity. You understand this, right? Or breathing becomes better. Asthma is good for asthma, good for bronchitis. All that is true. But the main purpose is that it brings agility and lightness in us. Because you start practicing pranayama, I will show in the future slides how even for weight loss, pranayama works. And there is research on that. I will show you all those research, how it works and everything. Okay? I'll come to this research paper. And now, also there are something very important, beneficial. The body becomes lean. Somebody is looking for weight loss here. It says the body's leaning is possible only when the body becomes light, and that is possible only when the nadis are purified. And there are some other conditions. Your face starts glowing. All these are the symptoms of practicing pranayama, or how the things happens. That's all happening because nadis are being purified. That's where the whole thing is happening. Okay? Again, I am not explaining every factor here, but I just want to highlight this one because I want to go to the next, or rather lead you to the next research itself. See, I'll just show you some research papers now, which explain the practice of pranayama in a very beautiful way. And now, this is one thing. When somebody loses weight, where does the fat go? You have ever wondered what is happening to the fat when somebody is losing weight? This is a beautiful study which is done in British Medical Journal, and I'm going to share this study in a while, because most of the times, right, for a weight loss, what is the natural inclined thing to do? I want to do physically intensive activity, high intensity workouts. In that, what you are doing, essentially you are burning your prana completely. That's exactly what it is, in the other way of translating it. Essentially, you are burning your prana completely in your high intensity workout. That means you don't have any energy left after that. That's not the way to do it. And there are much better ways of doing it. Because this is a beautiful research. See, it gives you a very, this I think I can share you the link for the article also. It says average human adipose triglyceride, if it is 10 kgs, and the exhaled air is having carbon dioxide. I think there's one more thing here. The exhaled atom has the carbon, which is what is making the exhaled air heavier. And now that's exactly what is causing weight loss, is saying. That means the weight loss is produced by correctly breathing. Probably if you do 1:2 breathing, it can create weight loss. Probably if you look at all the other exercises, right, high intensity workouts, if you see them carefully, in all these high intensity workout, what is essentially happening? Your breathing is becoming faster. You're kind of understanding it, right? Just by breathing faster, you are able to produce this result but you're naming it for activity. You're saying because I did this activity, I'm breathing faster, I'm getting this activity. But can you do the same thing by doing some pranayama practices? One is to deep breathing, exhale level is longer, more exhalation, faster breathing techniques are there, Bastrika. You don't worry about all the different practices here, but at least you can understand the relationship what we are talking here. Basically, you are trying to make the exhalations longer, as simple as that. Okay, that's you can study the research little later. And then coming to the next role of oxygen itself, I think this is something which everybody knows. Every cell of the body needs oxygen for our survival, because that's exactly what we are inhaling and taking out is carbon dioxide, right? And now there is another research by a Nobel laureate, and he says cancer basically needs a low oxygen environment to survive. So that means the cancer is there when the oxygen is less in the body, and that is something which everybody agrees now, because even in the modern medicine they say if the body is more acidic in nature, you are prone to cancer. And that's why there is a whole lot of system is trying to give you more basic food, including alkaline water. Why? Because they want to reduce acidic content in the body. You're kind of understanding it, right? And now, essentially what we are doing with pranayama, we are increasing the oxygen content in the body. Okay, and by doing that, you can heal the cancer, and you can also, the wounds needs more oxygen to heal, your wounds are being healed. So the increased carbon dioxide will make your body more acidic, and increased oxygen will make your body more alkaline. So by just doing practice of pranayama itself, right, you are essentially making your body more alkaline in nature. Is it clear? Somewhat convincing? Essentially what we are doing is breathe properly, that's all. Nothing else here. But I'll give you an explanation of how to do it also. I'll just come to that after sharing all these details. Now, there is something called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. I think professors are nodding, yeah, I know this, I know. Everybody probably, you also know all these concepts here. How many of you heard about this? You all know this, right? So what is this essentially? For those who don't know, I'll probably put some slide there. It's just a physiological phenomenon which connects your breathing to your circulatory system, as simple as that. Okay, that means what exactly it is? Anybody wants to explain it? What is respiratory sinus arrhythmia? That means your heart rate is directly related to your breathing. Depending on how your breathing is, your heart rate varies. That's all it is. Okay, there is a pattern to it. That pattern is called as respiratory sinus arrhythmia. And now when we inhale, the heart rate goes up. When we exhale, the heart rate goes down. That's essentially what it is. That means for every breath that you are taking, every breath you are inhaling and every breath you are exhaling, your heart rate is varying up and down. And now the difference of that is up to around 20 beats per minute. Now essentially if you are breathing fast or breathing up to extremes, deep breathing as she mentioned, right? If you are deep breathing, that means between inhalation and exhalation you are creating more difference, and that more difference is naturally going to act like a cardio for your heart. That's as simple as that. And we want to do cardio how? By sweating out. Even by properly breathing, a deep breathing also can induce the cardio kind of an effect for your heart, as what you do by doing high intensity activities also. You're kind of there so far? Any questions? And some more research on how the breathing, I think in yoga, right, one thing is we differentiate, I don't know if it's the same thing in Unani also, whether you're breathing from the left nostril or right nostril. Even that differs. Okay, and there is a science which proves that also, because the science has done a lot of research on this, and they have kind of figured out how you breathing from the right nostril and you breathing more from the left nostril is going to affect different systems in our body. Okay, now let us understand what you mean by breathing from one nostril, because sometimes when we breathe, right, we are naturally breathing from both the nostrils. That's how we are doing. You all agree with me? But what is this one nostril breathing now? Okay, let me just explain that a little more in detail. Now can everybody do this experiment? You just close one nostril and inhale and exhale from one nostril. Can you feel something? Now close the other nostril and do the same thing other nostril. And now how many of you think one is slightly blocked compared to the other? Raise your hands. How many of you feel that one is blocked compared to the other? Everybody feel that? So for how many of you left is more active right now? Okay. For how many of you right is more active right now? Alright. This is exactly what they are talking here. Because at any point of time, you will not be breathing from both the nostrils. Although we think we are breathing from both the nostrils, predominantly only one nostril is dominant at a given point of time. And that is what is dominant nostril all about. And this rhythm keeps on changing. Because right now maybe my right is active. After a few hours, if you check it, left will become active. After a few hours, right will become active. It keeps on changing. And this is also a cycle. This changing itself is a cycle. And in yoga also we call it as beautifully as Swara cycle and all those things. Cycle of your breath. It keeps on changing from left to right, right to left. And when something is active, something should be done. When something is active, something should not be done. All that is defined. And that is based on the fundamental concept. I'll explain that in the next slide probably, how each of these breath or each of these nostril affect different systems of your breathing. Maybe I'll just go to the next slide itself. Okay. So when you're breathing more dominantly from the right nostril, right, you're activating mostly your sympathetic system. I think you all know about sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Okay, fantastic. That's how easy for me to talk to medical people. Everybody knows all these concepts. So left nostril, when you're breathing, you're activating your parasympathetic system. And now, depending on which nostril is active, different things happen there. Say for example, right, I'm not going to explain everything here. Blood pressure. It increases blood pressure when right is active and reduces when left is active. Okay? Heart rate increases when again right is active, reduces when left is active. So that's how each of the different physiological parameters that's happening well within us, which is under autonomic control, is all varying depending on which nostril is active. And now in yoga, we have defined many different pranayama practices based on this one single logic itself. Because idea is what? Should I activate the system or to reduce the system down? If I want to activate, I say breathe from this nostril. If I want to reduce it, I say breathe from the other nostril. As simple as that. You kind of understand this concept. Easy to appreciate. Alright. And now, I think there's some more research on because I just told you this topic is not just physical itself. It is a lot beyond physical. We have some research which are done on pranayama for anxiety itself, where it says as you are doing the pranayama practices, right, the anxiety reduces. But what essentially is happening to reduce the anxiety, right? I've given the references also here. So there is something called amygdala, okay, which is nothing but which is the emotional center of your brain. You can say that amygdala, which is the emotional center of your brain. And now, what exactly it is saying is, when doing pranayama practice, right, it is reducing the activity in this emotional center. That means you are no more as reactive as you used to be before. Your emotions are well within your control by the practice of pranayama itself. Okay, because you are, and in yoga also we go on to say, I think when she was giving the talk, right, Dr. Jinsey also mentioned everything is from the manomaya, we say. Somebody had a question on how the Panchakosha theory happens and everything, right? Everything starts from the mind. And what the seed for the mind is your emotions. Because source of most of your mental thought patterns nowadays is mostly emotionally driven. Because you are more reactive to things outside. You're not kind of being there, calming yourself and before responding. And now pranayama is saying it can directly work on the center and it can calm the effect of that. Then naturally you become more calmer. You kind of emotionally probably will be able to better handle things outside. And there are some more, I think if you read the paper, right, there is some anterior cingulate cortex and anterior insula, which is again the region of emotional awareness, and there is a modulation in this area, and prefrontal cortex, which is this area mainly, the one which makes us human, is prefrontal cortex area. And that shows a lot of activation when you are doing pranayama practice. See, most of the times you are breathing. Whenever you're breathing without awareness, then your breath or the breathing is controlled by the lower part of your brain, which is your brain stem. When your awareness is not there, when you're just breathing casually, now probably now nobody is thinking about breathing, right? It's all happening from the lower part of your brain stem. But moment I say become aware of your breath, then immediately the control mechanism of your breathing shifts to the prefrontal cortex area, and now that's what starts controlling. That means your awareness is activating that area which makes you human. A prefrontal cortex is what differentiates us from other animals, and that's the control only we have as human beings to directly work on that area and to calm that area now. Okay? Clear? And I think I've given more of these things. Now let us do some activity, right? I've created a lot of videos, I've spoken to a lot of researchers in the field of pranayama also. You can just go and find those articles in the breathing in the YouTube channel. But before we get there, I just want to make you do some activity now. So what I'll do now, I'll just switch on my mobile phone. I just want you to, the way you're breathing right now, you continue to breathe in the same way, but you just count your breath for 1 minute. How many times you are breathing in 1 minute time. Okay? I just switch on the timer. I'll just give you timer. Hold on. I'll just say count. You just have to count your normal breathing. How many counts you are breathing in 1 minute time. Is it clear? Now what I will do is I will just put a timer which is going to give you a bell at the beginning. Once I start it, it will give you a bell, and then after that it will continue to count, and by the end it will give you another bell. You should stop counting. You should tell me your number of breaths in 1 minute. Alright, we'll start. Alright. Wait. Start. Just count your breath in 1 minute. Done? Last 5 seconds. Alright, stop counting. Can you just tell me your count? Just shout your count, whatever it is. 16, 14, 10, 9, 13, 12, 22, 22, 22, 25, 30. Wow, what else? Anything above 30? Anybody above 30 here? Okay, alright. Now we change something that you are doing in the breathing now. For the next, I'll give you another 1 more minute now. So now what you are going to do is, listen to this carefully. Now, as you inhale and exhale, right, you're going to become a lot more conscious about your breath. There is a pause between your breath, right? Can you observe that pause between your breath? Now you should breathe in a way that the pause will not happen there. Okay, how does it look like now? It's like a smooth waveform going up and transitioning to a smooth waveform going down. You can visualize this waveform. Now probably right now when you are breathing, you just went up, stopped, exhaled. Something like that. You will pause for a while and then just exhale. Now it should be like a smooth waveform going up and down. You understand what I'm saying? Without any pause in your breathing. Now let us see. Now I'll again start the timer. You become a little more aware of your breath now to make sure that you don't breathe with any pause in your breathing. Alright, let us start. When the bell rings, you can start counting. Start. Just start counting mentally. Last 5 seconds. Stop counting. Anybody noticed what happened now? It reduced 30. How much it became? 20. Okay. All right. Did you notice that the count of the breath came down? What exactly happened here? Just by becoming conscious of your breath, you could reduce the breath. Okay, first one also you're conscious, but now you're super conscious. You are even more conscious than the first time. Now just the more you become conscious of your breath, the more the breath slows down. I think Dr. Jinsey beautifully mentioned, right? Everybody is given a bag of prana. How much you use, how you use, it's up to you. That's how you gave a reference, right? Now just by becoming conscious of your breath, you are reducing the breath and you are using the prana more effectively, efficiently, so that you can live longer. Because the prana is being used very stingy way. I just use only this much, that's enough for me. And this is one of the things that you can do. If you don't do any pranayama also, just to become conscious of your breath, that's where the pranayama starts. By just being conscious of your breathing itself. Clear? Any questions so far? And of course, I have already given a other prerequisite here. Whatever pranayama should be learned from a teacher only. Okay. And there is another beautiful. Okay. It's not going. All right. See now, after completing all these things, right? Everybody probably have invoked a little bit of interest in you to practice pranayama. I have done my job coming and speaking about pranayama here. Even if some of you start practicing pranayama, but having said that, you need a teacher to learn pranayama from. Just don't go on your own and do something, and because mistakes can happen here because of subtle practice. Okay, because the more subtle the practice are, the mistakes are more to happen. Okay, and that's one of the things where in the text also they have given a beautiful warning for everyone. Okay, what is the warning? Yatha simmo gajo vyagro bhavet vashyam shanai shanai tathaiva sevitro vayor anyata anti sadakam. The way you tame the wild animals. See, if you want to tame a wild animal, right, you just say, come sit, tiger. You can't do that, right? You can't just say, tiger, just come and sit with me. No. Probably you just have to put the tiger in a cage, walk around the cage for a month together, and then feed the cage with your own hands, and then remove the tiger out of the cage, take the tiger for a walk. After all that, maybe after 1 year or 2 years, finally you can sit on the tiger. If you want to sit on the tiger. Okay? If instead, on the day one itself, if you sit on the tiger, what will happen? You're gone. And that's how pranayama is. Okay? The pranayama has to be controlled in a should be learnt methodically, systematically. Otherwise, you're going to injure yourself more than the beneficial. And there's one more sloka which I have not put here. And there's a sloka which says, if you do the wrong practice of pranayama, sarva roga samudbhava, it says. You can invite all the diseases. But if you do the right practice of pranayama, sarva roga kshayo bhavet. It can eradicate all the issues, all the diseases. So this is the difference here. Right practice and wrong practice. And now it's up to you how you want to start the practice. But if you're already practicing, make sure that you're doing the right practice so that you can just continue the practice without any ill effects of the practice. All right. So I don't know how much time I have. I think I have taken 45 minutes. So with this, maybe more than 45 minutes, sorry about that. With this, I am going to end it here. So in case if you have any questions, definitely you can contact us. So if you have any questions, I am more than happy to take questions. If you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions? I have not gone through all the details of the practices here, mainly because it has to be, it is.
Nostril one you had explained, right nostril reduce the blood glucose level and that. Can you show the reference? What was the model used for the experimental model?
Probably you can go to this paper. This is the paper by Shirley. She is one of the Shirley and Dr. Navratna Didi and Dr. Nagendra ji. So they are all from S-VYASA. They have done a beautiful research on this. This was a very old research also. I can give you the reference of this. You can just study the model in detail there. Okay. So this is one of the oldest research done on this on these particular practices actually. I think this is in 1994. Just imagine. 1994 was when this research was done, and now 2025 we are talking about it. That's how timeless all these practices are. Okay, we can talk anytime. Okay. Any other questions? All right, if no other questions, we are done. So please keep practicing. And again, pranayama is just one aspect of the yoga practice and not the whole and soul of yoga practice. So I would say consider it as a whole. Like the entire Ashtanga system is one bouquet you are having. It is just not, I will do only pranayama and everything will be fine. No, it's not going to happen. Okay, it is just one aspect of it. You just have to look at all the aspects and only then things will start working out. It is just not dealing with one aspect of it. Okay, many people think, now pranayama, if I know all these things, that it will become a magic pill. Not going to happen. No magic pills are available. Okay, because it's about not just what you do here, it's about how you do these practices also. How you approach these practices also matters. Okay, so with this, thank you so much for giving this opportunity for sharing this details on pranayama with everyone. So thanks to the director sir, Nanda Kishore ji, thank you so much. Thanks to all of you for listening to these things. If you have any questions, I'll be available. If you please come and discuss. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful talk on pranayama. I now request Dr. Najib Jahan and Dr. Abdul Nasir Ansari, sir, to kindly come over the stage and give the memento as a token of appreciation. Thank you, sir. Moving on with today's program, I would like to call upon our director, Dr. Shah Alam, to kindly come over the stage and give the memento to Dr. Mubin, Nodal Officer, Yoga Union 2025. I request Sri Nanda Kishore, Coordinator and Yoga Instructor, to kindly come over the stage to receive the memento. I request Mr. Tariq Hafiz, Coordinator Yoga Union 2025, to kindly come over the dais and receive the memento. Thank you, sir.
Energy and present today. As we disperse from this gathering, let us carry forward the spirit of One Earth, One Health in our daily lives, championing wellness not just as a practice but as a way of life. Thank you once again, and may we continue taking this path of harmony and healing together. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Abdul Mubin. With this, we are going to end up our today's program. I request the audience to kindly stand up for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे